By the Trump administration is sending shockwaves through the world of high school and college athletics. Yesterday, President Trump issued an executive order banning transgender women and girls from college women's and high school girls' sports teams. Schools that disobey this order risk losing federal funding. So we asked, how is California responding?
President Trump's executive order issued Wednesday says in recent years, many educational institutions and athletic associations have allowed men to compete in women's sports. This denies women and girls the equal opportunity to participate and excel in competitive sports. By men, Trump is referring to transgender women and girls.
Kids should have the right to play with their friends, regardless of the sex or the gender.
Alexis Sanchez with the Sacramento LGBT Community Center says Trump's executive order is disappointing.
It is seeking to erase transgender people.
Citing Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972, Trump is ordering enforcement actions be taken against schools that require female students to compete with or against or to appear unclothed before males, saying any K-12 school or college disobeying this risks losing federal funding.
These trans sports bans are based in transphobia.
Last month, according to The Athletic, National Collegiate Athletic Association President Charlie Baker said at a congressional hearing that of the more than 500,000 college athletes across the nation, fewer than 10 publicly identify as transgender. In a statement responding to Trump's executive order, Baker said, "We strongly believe that clear, consistent, and uniform eligibility standards would best serve today's student athletes. To that end, President Trump's order provides a clear national standard," adding the NCAA is reviewing the executive order and will take necessary steps to align NCAA policy in the coming days. The California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, which governs high school sports in the state, is taking another approach, saying they comply with California law, which permits students to participate in athletic teams and competitions consistent with the student's gender identity, irrespective of the gender listed on the student's records.
There will be constitutional challenges.
Constitutional expert Leslie Jacobs is Anthony Kennedy Professor of Law at University of the Pacific's McGeorge School of Law. We asked her if Trump has the power to take away school funding, since Congress has the so-called power of the purse.
Congress is the one who appropriates money for particular purposes. Okay, the president then implements the law, but he is required to spend the money that Congress appropriates. One of the statutes that Congress has written is Title IX, which says no discrimination in educational institutions that receive federal funds. And so the focus of the trans athlete executive order is an interpretation of Congress's statute, what the meaning of sex discrimination is.
She anticipates this will be challenged all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Now, already, just today, the U.S. Department of Education announced it's investigating 2 universities and an athletic association for reports of them allowing trans women on female sports teams. One of those schools is San Jose State University for allegedly allowing a trans woman onto the volleyball team. And according to a new poll from the New York Times, few Americans think transgender female athletes should be allowed to compete in women's sports. Of more than 2,100 people surveyed, 79% said they should not be allowed to compete. 18% said they should. The remaining people surveyed did not answer the question.
Now, in the next video, I'll do a reaction to that video, but I just want to give you some of my feelings on it. As a father of 2 girls, let's see, one of which played sports. And, it bothers me that individual with XY chromosomes who've just been chemically altered. Sometimes, I don't think with the surgery, because I think with that surgery, athletically, you're out. So we're just talking chemically, and I have a problem with, number one, a man who's physically stronger playing against women. And even if it's not a contact sport or a sport where women could be hurt, it's just not fair to have them competing in track and swimming and other sports where they always win. I've looked at the data on that. And I have a problem with that. Now, I don't have to get into the lifestyle because I have some very strong feelings on that, on Christians who try to attack them on lifestyle. I feel it's evil, but just on logic and common sense alone. Second problem I have with men competing against women, and I will do a reaction to that video next video, but I'm gonna get my positions out here, is that what man who's a father, what mother for that matter, would want men getting naked in front of women? That's the next step here. That's a slippery slope you go down. They have to be allowed to dress in the same area as the women. I didn't like it in prison, so why would I like it here? As a man and a man of God, I think it's bad. Now, I don't want to judge transgender lifestyle. That's not what this is about. And Christians who do that as a reason on this are inappropriate. They need to check themselves. This is not that issue. Maybe I'll do a third video on it. I don't know. Maybe I won't, actually. We should keep it to education. The reason I did this video is that I have a couple students at San Jose State, one doctoral and one undergraduate, that's trying to understand why these two transgendered individuals can't play on the women's volleyball team. And a lot of you want to blame Trump, but the NCAA came out really quick. Like the next day came out against this, and we're very clear. You saw it in the video. That's a pretty good news report. And at the end of the video, you saw most people, almost 80%, agree. So to my friends who are of a particular political party, who see it as a dictatorship and they hate what Trump did, and would you want your girl playing against a man on the girls' team? I don't think you like that. Apparently, most Americans don't either. I have an article I want to also put in the description block about this whole thing. I think it was what California is going to do. I thought you'd be interested in what California is going to do. California resists Trump's order. So California is going to stand against the nation, as you saw in the video. I'm going to include this article below. It's going to go to the Supreme Court, I'm sure. I'll include this article below. You can go through it. It's a pretty good article. It goes through both sides of it, so I included it here. You can look at it in the description block below. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at this. I think the Supreme Court will send it back to the lower court. In other words, they won't override the NCAA. And California is going to have to, and they said high schools also. And the threat of taking away money, I think the court will rule that he can make the ruling. On the money issue, I think that is possibly negotiable, or at least they can remove part of it. Now, a lot of you here felt it was okay to withhold money from red states that aren't giving abortions. A lot of you would love that. So you need to be consistent here. I should have said red states that don't allow abortion. I think I said it. So I don't know. I'm going to predict the court is not going to get involved, or they may even just strike it and say they don't have standing. So they can go through this. I'm sure there'll be injunctions filed after injunctions both ways. But that will be California by itself. No other state has said they're going to go against the federal ruling. All right, thanks much. I'm going to cover part 2, where I'm going to do a reaction video to that video you just saw. I didn't want to interrupt it. I wanted you to see it in its entirety. God bless you. Bye-bye now.